This is Pre-Algebra Lesson 52, Reflections. Today we're going to identify and perform reflections of a plane figure over the x and the y axes. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So a reflection, if you remember from your art classes in elementary school and even in middle school and high school, a reflection is a transformation that flips over something. It's the mirror image of something that you've been looking at. So in this case, we're going to talk about flipping your shape over the x-axis or the y-axis or some sort of horizontal or vertical line. This line that we're going to flip over is called our line of reflection, kind of our line of symmetry, but it'll be the line at which we flip the shape over. Now, when we do that, each point of our new image will be the same distance from the axis that the pre-image point was. Go ahead and pause the video and copy this information into your notebook. This won't be in your flip book, it will be in your notebook. All right, here we go. Let's turn to the page in your flip book that is talking about reflections, and this is boxes 1 and 2. So as we talked about just a second ago, a reflection is a short word flip. You're right. It's a flip over the line, and that line is called our line of reflection. Sorry for the messy spelling. Okay, so we're going to go ahead, as you see in triangle, in box number 1, we were to graph the triangle, the pre-image, ABC. I went ahead and did that, and I also did for number 2, I went ahead and drew in our pre-image. So pause the video really quick and draw these two images onto your coordinate planes. Welcome back. Now let's go ahead and flip our images over the axis that it's talking about. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this with a different color, and I'll do it in red. All right, so the first one, triangle ABC, we're going to reflect over the y-axis. Now my recommendation when you're doing this is to always trace over the line that you want to flip over, because it can be pretty confusing whether you're flipping over the x-axis or the y-axis or a horizontal or vertical line in a different location. So if you go ahead and trace it on your paper first, then it makes it much easier to see where you're going. Now we said the line of reflection indicates that your new points, your image points, will be the same distance from that line of reflection that the pre-image was. So our A, if we look at the A, it is 1, 2, 3 points to the left. So we're going to make it 3 points to the right on the same horizontal line. So if I go up here, I go 3 points over 1, 2, 3. This will be my new A prime. Okay, and my B prime was down here, and it was 1 over this direction, so 1 direction to the left, so we're going to go 1 direction to the right, so there's my B prime. And my C prime is going to be on our outside line, if you can notice here, and it's down 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so we're going to put it there. So this is our C prime, and you can go ahead, oops, I didn't do a very good job, sorry, and you can trace or draw in the edges of that triangle, and then go ahead and write your new ordered pairs. So for A, we have that it is over 1, 2, 3, and it went up 5. And our B is forward 1, down 1, so it's 1 and negative 1. And our C is all the way over to the edge, so that's 5, and it went up 2. All right, so these are new points for our, these are the new points for our image. And if you notice, they're the exact same numbers. It's just that the sign of the x value changed since we went over the y-axis. The sign of the x value changed, okay? Let's go ahead and look at our rhombus in box number 2. and it says we want to reflect on the y-axis. So I'm going to go ahead and trace the x line. So I remember that that's the line that I want to flip over, not the y-axis, the x-axis. And I want to do the same thing where I'm going to go the exact same distance on the other side. So E was 2 down from this location, so I'm going to go up 2 locations, and that's my E prime. And then D is 1 spot over from that and all the way to the edge, so I'm going to make that. So here's my D prime, here is E prime. F was 1 down from that location, so it's going to be 1 up. So that's F prime, and G is over 1 and almost to the edge right there, and that's G prime. And then I'm going to connect the points to make my rhombus. I apologize, it's not very straight, but you can get the idea of what we did. It kind of turned a little bit. It kind of seems like it turned a little bit. And so our D prime is -4, 5, and our E prime is -3, 2. And our F prime is over 0, so we didn't go forward or backward, but this time we went up 1. And for G, we went backwards 1, so that's -1, and we went up 4. And if we look again at our pre-image points, you notice that the X values stayed exactly the same, and the Y values, the number stayed the same, however, the sign changed. So that's kind of an interesting connection. See if you can make it at this point. All right, let's move forward. Let's do a few more examples. This one's not in your flip book, but I encourage you to do this along with me. Kind of follow along, pause the video if you have paper that you want to practice on, or jump ahead and see if you can get the points before I put them down. That would be awesome. So we have the pre-image triangle ABC is being reflected over the x-axis. We want to draw and label triangle A prime, B prime, C prime, the new image. All right, so let's see, what did they say? They said over the x-axis. So that's information, again, I really want to know ahead of time. It's the x-axis, and so I don't get confused, I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to trace, very sloppy trace, but I'm going to trace the x-axis line. And now I know that I want to just basically pick this triangle up and flip it over kind of like a pancake and flip it over to the other side. So B, oddly enough, is on that line of reflection, so it will stay in exactly the same spot. So interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and write that this is B prime in the same location. C prime is from B, it went forward 1, and in this case it went down 2, so we're going to go up 2. So there we have C prime. And A prime was from the origin, it went forward 1 and it went down 3, so we're going to go forward 1 and up 3 this time. And that's our A prime. And so here we have the points for our new image of our triangle. So A is going to be 1 and 3, and B is going to be the exact same, 3 and 0, and C is going to be 4 and +2. So I left a little note here to say only the y coordinate values changed. Again, the sign of the y values changed. The numbers are exactly the same, just that if it was positive, it's now negative, and if it were negative, it's now positive, except for 0, which is neither positive nor negative. All right, we have one more example, the exact same triangle, but this time it says we want our new image to be over the y-axis. So we want this one to be over the y-axis. So I'm going to circle that. That means this is the line of reflection I want to go over. By pointing it out to me, in my mind, it makes it more obvious. I can see it with my eyes better. So A was over here, it went forward 1. This time it's going to go backward 1. So that's A prime here. And then B, this time B is going to move. So B was forward 3. This time it will go backward 3. But stay on the X, not an R, sorry. B prime, and then C was 1 4 over from B, but down 2. So 1 over from B and then down 2, which is C prime. And you notice that I'm not really talking a whole lot of calculations with my points, with my ordered pairs at this point, but I certainly could do that, couldn't I? All right, so here we have A went backward 1 and down 3, and Y went backward 3, but it stayed at 0 for Y, and C went backward 4 and down 2. So again, the numbers, the digits are exactly the same, but this time the Y coordinate or the X coordinates change. So it's basically the coordinate's going to change that is opposite the axis that you're flipping. Okay? It's kind of interesting, I think, kind of fun to learn these things. All right, tonight for your homework, you're going to do boxes 3 and 4 from your flip book, and you're going to do the reflections. Now, I do want to point out that in this homework tonight, for box number 3, it says the trapezoid P, Q, R, and S is going to be reflected where X is equal to 1. So basically what that means, and I drew the line in for you, but if we started at the origin, where is X equal to 1? So you would go over one space, and no matter where you are on the Y-axis, if you went over one space, that would be X. So I went ahead and drew that line in. I would recommend you do the same thing. And then where Y is equal to X, that's a very interesting equation right there, and something that we're going to talk about later. But in this case, I went ahead and gave you that information where Y is equal to X. So if Y is 1, X would be 1. So we have that location. If Y were 2, X would be 2. It would be that location. So you can see if we plotted points all along this line of reflection right here, we would see that wherever the value of X is, the Y would be exactly the same thing. So this is our Y equals X line. Okay, and you're going to reflect the triangle JKL. After you place the preimage, you will reflect it over that and give me the new ordered pairs. Excellent. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow, answering any questions you have, and seeing how you did with this. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.